The sun still beat me. We got it a moment earlier, and the Sea of Galilee is stirred up a bit. I woke a couple of times during the night. That can happen, and the waves were pounding. The intensity can vary quite a lot in a few hours. All that goes on in hearts and eyes, watching the sunrise. A blessing for the wise. No lies. Friends, companions, spouses, people on their own. It's interesting now, I'm quite south of Ducanaltum to get the reflection. And we're in the 10 weeks of longest days in the northern hemisphere. Isn't that amazing? How fast the whole thing runs and turns. We have the summer solstice, June 21, we're in May 16. The year is almost halfway over, or used or developed or made profitable. Taking time in the morning. I'm trying to get the sun in the picture there. I need to zoom in a little bit, or zoom out a little. Taking time to contemplate, time to stop. Pilgrimage is a time out. There's tremendous drama in the first reading today. A lot of drama, a lot of also behind the scenes dramas of the major sort. There's a couple of extracts of the chapter are missing that are also very interesting to see how humans react, human reactions to situations. It's really amazing. This morning it's so clear we can see Mount Hermon. That was not possible for quite a while with all those cloudy mornings. Mount Hermon is up that little grey protrusion behind that hill, which is part of that landmass where the Mount of Beatitudes is on the right of the screen there. Capernaum over there. And Bethsaida across from us. Bethsaida, well, it's a little bit north of where we see the sun marking that horizon now. I wonder if Bethsaida will be under the sun at the summer solstice. I must check that out. Somebody must remind me. I still have to figure out the exact marker here to identify exactly where Bethsaida is across the lake. It's a cluster of trees. You know, there's a lot of profitability in trafficking with human brokenness. And when that's challenged, civil wars can happen, as did happen over slavery. There was a lot of economy dependent on slavery. Human brokenness is profitable. obviously in the short run, in the most abusive way, but people have major vested interests in human brokenness. And the healing of humanity, the recovery of identity and love, the recovery of respect for the human being is also has major economic consequences for the profitability of human trafficking. And therefore also that's a motivation for hostility, and we see a very clear example of that today in the reading. I encourage you to read the whole chapter 16 again. We had the story of Lydia yesterday, and that was a more serene, peaceful event, and it's at the waterside and they're praying, it's Shabbat, and they're in an encounter, it's a conversation, it's a discovery, it's hearts that are looking for God. And the second part is the story of, right there in Philippi, the story of fortune-telling prophets being challenged. And then it's amazing then how there's an anti-Semitism, an anti-Jewish. The word Semitic really for languages means Arabic and Aramaic and many other Semitic languages. So the word Semitic is sometimes cornered into one spot, but it's used for anti-Jewish sentiment. And it's interesting to see how rampant that must have been in Philippi, in pagan Rome, pagan Roman culture, Middle Eastern culture. And this sentiment is also wielded, it's also manipulated to bring hostility to Paul. There's the economic motive, but then it's combined with this racial motive. So there's a history there. I'm not sure how much is explored, but it's interesting that right there you can sense it in the reading today of Acts chapter 16. And obviously those carrying the gospel are perceived as Jewish. They're the ones bringing it in, and who's more Jewish than Paul? So, and then Lydia was probably Jewish because she was worshipping God on the Sabbath, and maybe she was a Gentile that had associated, or maybe she was a Jewish family. Maybe there's more information about that which I don't have in my brain right now, but that's the context. And then so they orchestrate an attack. First of all, it's a judgmental attack, it's a verbal attack, and then the crowds join in the attack. It's amazing how human beings react. When somebody gets beaten up, there are more people ready to join in. It's amazing brokenness of humanity. Instead of coming to the defense of the weak, the accusations are immediately accepted without trial, and that becomes later a huge embarrassment for those who perpetrated this injustice. Right in the same chapter, just read it through to the end, it's amazing. We're talking about the highest officials of the Roman Empire. That means the people of greatest respect in the city, the greatest power brokers, the magistrates. Other officials are mentioned like the lictors. So just check out that chapter, it's absolutely amazing in terms of drama. And this is only the beginning of it. Then the magistrates decide to whip Paul and his companions. And there's a little debate if Luke is also not involved, because he uses the word we, but the scholars have a little bit of debate about this use of the word we here. If he's reporting an account from others, or if he was actually one of the people with Paul. So they're inside the most secure secure part of the prison. So we call that high security. Now, if you're whipped and you're really bleeding and your wounds are hurting and smarting like you can't believe, what impresses me very much is, and again, this is the drama of the whole story, is the fact that at midnight they're praying, and maybe before that for quite a while, that in the prison they're praying. As they're beaten up, tortured, the word we use today is torture. They were tortured, and they're praying and glorifying God in the prison. That's these are some crazy people. These are some amazing people. Amazing strength. Amazing character. Check it out. I find it fascinating to see this. And now those who had all the power, turns out that they're not in charge. Because there's an earthquake and the prison bursts open. And again, we have another major turn in the drama. The prisoners stay put. They don't leave. The prisoners stay put. I think this Egyptian goose I've caught her attention, but now she's waddling off again. I'm not sure she's a loner or if it's part of that family. So the head of the prison takes out his sword to kill himself because he's in the most embarrassing situation. And Paul cries out, "Don't hurt yourself." It's just absolutely amazing how the tables are turned. They have whipped Paul and he says, "Don't hurt yourself." It's amazing how the spirit of the gospel has transformed this radical man who was persecuting Christians. Absolutely fascinating. So it's the whole family. Quack, 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 quack. I'm your friend here, don't worry. I don't have something to catch you and cook you. So now the tables turn again, and the magistrate, or the head of the prison, not the magistrate, the head of the prison takes Paul and his companions to his home and dresses their wounds. And you see, the amazing thing here is that Paul has respected the human dignity of the prison guard. Don't hurt yourself. Don't do something bad to yourself. We're on your side. We want you to be healthy. You imprisoned me, but I want you to be healthy. The way humans react to injustice, to hurt, to a harsh word in the kitchen, to an unfair treatment at the office, to irony and a put down, how do we react? All of that human brokenness, we traffic in it all the time, we deal in it. We're faced by it every day in many circumstances. And we are all tempted all the time to traffic in it for our own power, for our own righteousness, that we come across as being on top of things, that we know what we're doing, that we're strong, that we can uphold ourselves. And how do we deal with the brokenness of the other? The one who whips us, the one who imprisons us, the one who jails us. They're really the ones who are broken, who are more broken, more deeply broken, horribly broken. And the gift of wholeness is for them, and they're my brother and sister. The amazing discovery of human dignity. And you know what? The church in Philippi thrived. It flourished because it was sown on the authenticity of love, of respect for the other. And Paul eventually had extraordinary words of affection for the Philippians. Just read the letter he wrote to them. How do we build thriving communities of love today? By responding to human brokenness, not with judgment, judgmentalism, not with condemnation, not with whipping. I give them a tongue lashing. They need their comeuppance. I need to dish it out. No, Providence has his time for the earthquake. Providence has time for opening the heart of those who are hardened of heart. Let's no longer traffic with human brokenness. I'm not talking about the cartels and the human traffickers and all the other industries built on human misery. Just the little things in our own kitchen. We have to start a culture in our own relationships. A culture that doesn't hurt. A culture that binds up wounds, that soothes, that encourages, that lifts up. People, God bless you. See you later, alligators. This beautiful spot here at the Sea of Galilee.